The human ship. Perseverance moved slowly toward the massive galactic central station. Captain Hannah Park stood tall on her bridge, watching as thousands of sleek alien vessels glided gracefully around them. Her ship looked old and patched together compared to the others. "Captain, we're getting the usual messages," said Tae Kim, her first officer. His face showed no emotion as he played the incoming communication. A tall blue alien appeared on screen. "Ah, the human vessel arrives. Again." Station Commander Rel made a clicking sound with his mouth parts. "You are assigned to Docking Bay 47G. Please proceed there immediately." "Thank you, Commander. We appreciate your hospitality," Hannah replied politely. When the screen went dark, Navigator Jun Lee sighed. "Bay 47G is the farthest from everything. Again." "They might as well put us with the garbage," Security Chief Jun Kang muttered. Hannah smiled slightly. "Let them think what they want." The Perseverance docked with a series of loud clanks that made several nearby alien diplomats turn and stare. Some pointed, others laughed behind their hands or tentacles. "Look at that vessel," one tall green diplomat said loudly. "Can you believe they travel between stars in that?" His companion, a floating ball of purple gas contained in a transparent shell, pulsed with amusement. "Humans. So young, so primitive. Did you know they only discovered faster-than-light travel 50 years ago? We had been exploring the galaxy for 10,000 years by then." The human crew stepped onto the station, their simple blue uniforms standing out among the elaborate clothing and natural coverings of the other species. Engineer Min Choi carried a toolbox that several aliens moved away from, as if afraid it might explode. "They use physical tools," whispered one small furry diplomat to another. "With their hands." In the Great Hall, hundreds of species gathered for the opening of the diplomatic conference. The room fell quieter as the humans entered. Captain Hannah led her small team with dignity, ignoring the stares and whispers. Defense Minister Ulo, a tall being with 4 arms and gray skin, blocked their path. "Captain Park," he said loudly. "I'm surprised to see Earth sending representatives again this year. What could you possibly contribute to discussions about galactic security?" Hannah smiled. "We may be young, Minister Ulo, but sometimes fresh eyes see things experienced ones miss." "Fresh eyes indeed," Ulo laughed. "Your species barely understands gravity manipulation, yet you wish to discuss defense systems with races that have mastered dimensional folding." Several aliens nearby laughed. Science Officer Narration stepped slightly forward, but Captain Hannah raised her hand subtly, stopping her. "We're here to learn as much as to contribute," Hannah said calmly. "Then learn your place," Ulo replied, his voice low. "The edges of the room are perfect for observing your betters." As the humans moved to the side of the hall, Diplomatic Officer Sue Park whispered, "One day, he'll regret those words." "Perhaps," Hannah answered. "But today is not that." Daimler later the crew gathered in their quarters. The room assigned to all 12 humans was smaller than what most single diplomats received. The walls were bare metal, the beds hard slabs designed for a different body type entirely. "I requested permission for us to join tomorrow's security summit," Sue reported. "They denied it immediately." Jun slammed his fist on the table. "This is pointless. Year after year we come here, pretending to be less than we are. For what?" "For peace," Hannah said firmly. "For observation. They mock us openly," Min noted, setting down her tools. "The Arthaxians have a betting pool on how long our ship will last before falling apart." Tay smiled. "Did you place a bet?" "Of course," Min replied with a grin. "I bet it would last another 1,000 years. They thought I was joking." Hannah looked around at her crew. "Tomorrow, the Perseverance will undergo standard security scanning. Everything is in place?" Nari nodded. "All systems show as primitive. The quantum core is masked. Our true capabilities remain hidden." "Good," Hannah said. "Remember why we're here. Remember the oath." Together, They recited words spoken by human explorers for centuries. We watch, we learn, we protect, but we do not interfere unless necessary. That night. As the station's lights dimmed to simulate night, Security Officer Dahl approached the human ship. His job was routine: scan all vessels for weapons or contraband. He expected the human ship to be the easiest part of his shift. Primitive technology, he muttered to himself, activating his scanner. This won't take long. The scanner hummed, then made a strange noise Dahl had never heard before. The screen flickered, showing impossible readings for a brief moment before going dark. Dahl frowned and tapped the device. Must be malfunctioning. Inside the Perseverance, Captain Hana and Engineer Min watched the security feed. He almost saw it, Min said quietly. Hana nodded. But he didn't. Not yet. And if someday they do? Min asked. Hana looked out the small viewport at the vast station filled with species who thought humans were jokes, newcomers, primitives. Species who had no idea what truly lurked beneath the Perseverance's battered exterior. Then, she said softly, everything changes. Security Officer Dahl approached the Perseverance early in the station's morning cycle. Most of the human crew was still sleeping. Perfect timing for a routine scan without interruptions. As the lowest-ranked security officer, Dahl always got stuck with the boring jobs like scanning the primitive ships. Let's get this over with, he muttered, activating his scanner. The small device hummed as he waved it over the ship's hull. Suddenly, the scanner made a strange noise and shut down. The screen flashed with strange symbols before going dark. Strange, Dahl said, tapping the device. Must be broken. He pulled out his backup scanner and tried again. This time the device worked but showed very confusing readings. According to the scanner, parts of the ship seemed to not exist at all, while others showed energy patterns he had never seen before. That can't be right, Dahl whispered. He adjusted the settings and scanned again. The new scan showed something even more impossible. For a brief moment beneath the visible metal of the hull, he saw what looked like a solid black material that absorbed all the scanner's signals. Then it vanished, showing normal metal again. Security Chief Jun Kang appeared at the airlock door. Good morning, officer. Is there a problem with your inspection? Dahl quickly turned off his scanner. No, just equipment trouble. Your ship passes. Inspection. Jun smiled. Glad to hear it. Would you like some coffee? It's a human drink. Dahl was about to refuse, but his curiosity got the better of him. Yes, thank you. Inside the ship, Dahl was surprised by how cramped and basic everything looked. Exposed wires hung from the ceiling. Old-fashioned buttons and switches covered the control panels instead of modern touch surfaces. Everything looked exactly as primitive, as people said, but something wasn't right. His scanner had shown something else. Here's your coffee, Jun said, handing him a cup of hot, dark liquid. Thank you, Dahl replied, taking a small sip. It was bitter, but not unpleasant. Your ship is very interesting. Just an old transport, Jun said casually. Nothing special. Dahl looked around again. May I ask how your ship's power system works? Basic fusion reactor, Jun answered. Very inefficient compared to your technology, I'm sure. Dahl nodded, but he wasn't convinced. He had studied all known propulsion systems, and fusion reactors gave off very specific energy patterns. Whatever his scanner had detected was nothing like that. Well, I should complete my rounds, Dahl said. Thank you for the coffee. As he left the ship, he noticed Captain Hana and Engineer Min watching him from a side corridor. Their faces showed no emotion, but something about their stillness made Dahl uneasy. Back at his security station, Dahl connected his scanner to his private terminal and downloaded the strange readings. He compared them to the database of known technologies but found nothing similar. What are you working on? Asked his supervisor. Dahl quickly closed the files. Just checking scanner calibrations. Later that day, Dahl spotted Science Officer Narration in the station's library section. She was accessing information about the station's security systems. When she saw Dahl watching, she smiled and waved. Officer Dahl, right? From this morning's inspection? Yes, he replied. What brings you to the security archives? Just curious about how different species handle safety protocols, she said. Humans are still learning so much. Dahl nodded slowly. I noticed something unusual during my scan of your ship. Nari's smile didn't change. Oh? What was that? Energy readings that don't match your stated technology level. For a split second, Nari's eyes hardened, but her smile remained. Our systems are quite old. They probably don't register correctly on your advanced scanners. Perhaps, Dahl said. Or perhaps there's more to your ship than meets the eye. Officer Dahl, Nari said quietly. Sometimes things appear mysterious simply because we don't understand them yet. Their conversation was interrupted by a station-wide announcement. Attention all diplomats. The security summit will begin in 1 hour in Conference Hall A. Excuse me, Nari said. I should join my captain. Dahl watched her leave, then returned to his terminal. This time, he accessed the station's main scanner logs to see if any previous scans of the Perseverance had shown similar anomalies. To his surprise, there were no records at all. According to the system, the human ship had never been scanned before despite visiting the station 5 years in a row. Impossible, Dahl whispered. He decided to take his findings to his commander, but first he made a copy of the strange scan data. As he finished, his terminal suddenly shut down. When it restarted, the files were gone. At that moment, his communicator beeped with a message from Captain Hannah Park. Officer Dahl, I'd like to invite you to dinner aboard the Perseverance tonight. We appreciate your thorough inspection this morning. Dahl stared at the message. How did she know he had done a deeper scan? And why invite him to dinner now? As he left his post, Dahl noticed Security Chief Jun watching him from across the concourse. Their eyes met, and Jun nodded once before disappearing into the crowd. Dahl had a feeling that his dinner invitation wasn't just about being friendly. The humans knew he had seen something. Now, he needed to decide what to do about it. What exactly was hiding beneath the Perseverance's primitive exterior? And why were the humans hiding it? 5 days had passed since Dahl's strange scanner readings on the human ship. He couldn't stop thinking about what he had seen. The mysterious black material, the impossible energy patterns, the missing scan records. Dahl sat alone in the station's observation deck, watching ships come and go. The massive Arthaxian cruisers moved with grace despite their size. The glowing Pontaran vessels seemed to float like jellyfish through space, and there in the farthest docking bay sat the human ship Perseverance, looking like it might fall apart at any moment. Beautiful view, isn't it? Dahl turned to find Nari Yoon, the human science officer, standing beside him. She wore her simple, blue uniform and carried a small device he didn't recognize. Yes, Dahl said carefully. I was just admiring the different ships. Including ours? Nari asked with a small smile. Yours stands out, Dahl replied. But not in the way most would think. Nari sat down beside him. The dinner the other night was pleasant. Captain Hannah enjoyed your company. The dinner had been strange. The humans had been friendly, showing him around their supposedly primitive ship. Everything he saw matched their technological level, yet his instincts told him it was all wrong. Like a carefully created show. I have questions, Dahl said, lowering his voice, about your ship. I'm sure you do. Nari's expression became serious. But this isn't the place. Before Dahl could respond, the lights in the observation deck flickered and went out. Emergency lights came on a moment later, casting everything in a red glow. Attention all personnel, the station's computer announced. Power failure in sectors 8 through 12. Backup systems engaged. People around them began to panic. Some rushed for the exits. Others tapped frantically at their communication devices. But Nari didn't seem surprised at all. She simply stood and tapped her wrist device once. Interesting timing, she said. Did you know this would happen? Dahl asked, standing as well. No. but we're always prepared for power failures. She looked at him directly. Aren't you curious why? Before he could answer, 3 more humans appeared. Jun Kang, Min Choi, and Tai Kim moved through the crowd with purpose, helping people to the exits and providing small light sources to those who needed them. Your crew seems very calm during an emergency, Dahl noted. We train for all situations, Nari replied. Come with me. Curious, Dahl followed her through the panicked crowd. They moved down emergency-lit corridors until they reached a maintenance section. Inside, Jun and Min were already working on a panel in the wall. Is the backup loop connected? Nari asked. Min nodded. 2 minutes until station systems recognize the new path. What are you doing? Dahl demanded. You're not authorized to access station systems. We're saving the lives of everyone in this section, Jun said without looking up from his work. The main power relay is about to fail completely. When it does, life support will go with it. That's impossible, Dahl said. The system has triple redundancies. Not when sabotage is involved, Nari said quietly. As if to prove her point, a loud bang came from somewhere above them, and even the emergency lights went out. Complete darkness fell for 3 seconds before soft blue lights came on from devices the humans had placed around the room. Got it, Min said. Rerouting power now. The regular lights flickered back on, and the air circulators began to hum again. How? Did you know? Dahl asked, stunned. And how did you fix it so quickly? The humans exchanged looks. Finally, Nari spoke. We've seen this before. The pattern matched previous attacks. Attacks? By whom? Instead of answering, Jun handed Dahl a small data chip. These are scans of an unauthorized device attached to the power systems. We've found 3 others just like it in the past 2 days. Dahl examined the images on the chip. The device was unlike anything he had seen before. This technology is beyond even the most advanced conquered species. Yes, Nari said simply. Suddenly the pieces began to fit together for Dahl. Your ship isn't what it seems. You aren't what you seem. Officer. Dahl, Captain Hana said, appearing at the doorway. The question isn't what we are, but what is happening to this station. Someone is systematically sabotaging key systems. Someone who doesn't want the diplomatic conference to succeed. Dahl thought about the strange readings from the human ship, the missing scan records, and now this seemingly impossible knowledge of the station's systems. Why should I trust you? He asked. Hana's expression was calm but serious. Because in about 6 hours this entire station will be attacked. And we may be the only ones who can stop it. How could you possibly know that? Instead of answering, Hana showed him her own datapad. On it was a star chart with 5 unknown ships approaching the station from an unpatrolled sector. Because, she said quietly, we've been hunting them for a very long time. The main conference room buzzed with nervous tension. All the major species of the Galactic Conquered had gathered for the security summit, but the atmosphere was anything but peaceful. Captain Hana Park and her human crew stood in the back, ignored by most of the important diplomats. The humans claim, an attack is coming, Security Officer Dahl announced to the room. Several aliens laughed. Defense Minister Ulo rose from his seat, his forearms crossed in obvious disbelief. And why would we listen to a species that barely understands gravity manipulation? Because they predicted the power failures exactly, Dahl replied firmly, and they fix systems they shouldn't even understand. The room fell silent for a moment before erupting in loud arguments. Some believed Dahl, others thought it was a human trick for attention. Station Commander Rel finally raised his voice. Enough. Our long-range scanners show nothing unusual, but as a precaution we will raise shields and alert our defense fleet. Captain Hana stepped forward. That won't be enough. The ships we detected use technology that can hide from your scanners. Impossible, said one tall, tentacled diplomat. Our sensors are the most advanced in known space. I believe her, Dahl said suddenly. All eyes turned to him in surprise. I've seen things on their ship that shouldn't be possible. Perhaps we should listen. Before anyone could respond, the entire station shuddered violently. The lights flickered, and the emergency alarms began to sound. Multiple impacts detected. A station officer called out. 5 unknown vessels have appeared from nowhere. They're already inside our defense perimeter. The room erupted in chaos. Diplomats rushed for the exits, shouting orders into their communication devices. The view screens showed massive black ships, unlike any known design, firing strange purple beams that cut through the station's shields like they weren't even there. Vrex warships, Engineer Min said quietly to Captain Hana. Just as we feared. Hana nodded and turned to her crew. Begin evacuation procedures. Get as many people to the Perseverance as possible. Defense Minister Ulo overheard and laughed bitterly. Your little transport ship? It would be destroyed instantly. It's stronger than it looks, Hana replied calmly. Officer Dahl, will you help us? Dahl looked between the panicking aliens and the strangely composed humans. He made his decision. Yes, what do you need? Help us gather key diplomats and get them to Docking Bay 47G. As the station rocked with more impacts, Dahl and the humans moved against the crowd, gathering important figures and guiding them toward the distant docking bay. Many refused to follow, choosing instead to trust their own ships or the station's. Defenses. Our ships can't launch, someone shouted. The docking bay doors are jammed. Another explosion shook the station harder this time. The main lights failed completely, leaving only the dim emergency lighting. The Vrex have breached the outer hull, came an announcement. Security teams to sections 5, 8, and 12. Through the chaos, Dahl and the humans managed to gather 15 key diplomats, including Commander Rel, and surprisingly, Minister Ulo. My shuttle was destroyed, Ulo explained grimly. It seems I have no choice but to trust you humans. As they neared Docking Bay 47G, they saw the first of the invaders. Tall, armored figures with too many limbs moved with frightening speed, cutting down station security with ease. Get down, June shouted, pulling everyone behind a corridor junction. To Dahl's surprise, June pulled out a small device that looked nothing like the primitive weapons humans were known to use. When he activated it, a pulse of blue energy shot out, dropping 3 Vrex soldiers instantly. What is that? Dahl asked, stunned. No time to explain, June replied. Run! They finally reached the docking bay. The Perseverance sat where they had left it, looking small and vulnerable. As they approached, a squad of Vrex soldiers appeared at the far end of the bay. Everyone on board now? Hana ordered. The diplomats didn't need to be told twice. They rushed up the ramp into the human ship. Min and Tay took defensive positions, revealing more of the strange blue weapons. Captain, June called from inside the ship. The station's outer defenses have failed completely. The Vrex fleet is moving into position to destroy it. Not if we stop them first, Hana replied. She turned to Dahl, who was staring at the weapons, in confusion. Officer Dahl, it's time you learned the truth about us. Once everyone was aboard, the ramp closed. Dahl expected the inside to look like the cramped, primitive ship he had seen before. Instead, he found himself in a spacious, gleaming command center with technology he couldn't even begin to understand. What is this? Gasped Minister Ulo. This isn't possible. This, Captain Hana said as she took her place in a floating command chair, is the real Perseverance, and we are humanity's first line of defense against the Vrex. The ship hummed with power as the outer shell began to change, transforming from battered metal to something sleek and black that seemed to absorb light itself. Brace for departure, Hana ordered, and prepare for combat. The diplomats stared, in shock as the interior of the Perseverance transformed around them. The cramped primitive corridors and exposed wiring vanished, replaced by a spacious command center with technology that made even the most advanced conquered ships look ancient. This is impossible, Minister Ulo whispered, his forearms trembling. Your species only achieved faster than light travel 50 years ago. Captain Hana Park stood calmly at the center of the bridge. That's what we wanted you to believe. The view screen showed the massive Vrex warships attacking the station. Purple energy beams cut through the once impenetrable shields like paper. Smaller Vrex ships were boarding through forced entry points. We need to help the station, Commander Rel demanded. My people are dying out there. And we will help them, Hana assured him. But first, you all deserve to know the truth. The ship hummed with power as it detached from the docking bay. Outside, the Perseverance's hull completed its transformation, from patchwork metal to smooth black material that seemed to swallow light. Humans aren't newcomers to the galaxy, Engineer Min explained, as she worked controls that responded to mere touches. We've been exploring space for over 2,000 years. Impossible, one diplomat said. We would have detected you. Security Chief Jun smiled slightly. Not if we didn't want to be detected. Dahl moved closer to Hana. Why the deception? Why pretend to be primitive? Observation, she replied simply. We needed to understand the Concord species without influencing their natural development. Like a study, Ulo asked, his voice rising in anger. We were test subjects to you? No, Hana said firmly. More like potential allies. We needed to know if you could be trusted. Outside, the Perseverance accelerated with impossible speed, yet everyone inside felt no movement at all. The Vrex, ships didn't seem to notice them. They can't see us, Navigator June explained, noticing Dahl's surprise. RQ, Uantum phase technology makes us virtually invisible to their sensors. The Vrex, Dahl said slowly, understanding dawning. You know them. Tay nodded grimly. We've been fighting them for centuries. They're a predatory species from beyond the galactic rim. They consume worlds, strip them of resources, and move on. On the view screen, they watched as the Perseverance positioned itself between the station and the largest Vrex warship. Weapons systems online, reported Jun. Phase cannons, charged. Target their main power core, ordered Hana. Fire when ready. Blue-white energy lanced out from the human ship, cutting through the Vrex warship's shields as if they weren't there. The massive enemy vessel shuddered, then exploded in a silent flash. The diplomats gasped collectively. You just destroyed their flagship, Commander Rel said in awe. Our entire fleet couldn't even damage their shields. The Vrex have attacked 12 different species over the past 800 years, Science Officer Nari explained. Humanity has stopped them each time without anyone knowing we were involved. Why hide this power? Asked one small, furry diplomat. You could have ruled the conquered with this technology. That's exactly why we hide it, Hana said softly. Power corrupts. Even humans are not immune to that temptation. The Perseverance continued its attack, disabling 3 more Vrex ships with precision strikes. The remaining enemy vessel turned to flee. Should we pursue? Asked June. Hana shook her head. No, let it run. We've saved the station, and that was our mission. As the diplomats watched in amazement, the human crew worked with practiced efficiency to rescue stranded ships and help repair the station's critical systems. I don't understand, Dahl finally said. If you've been this advanced for so long, why join the conquered at all? Why endure our mockery year after year? Hana turned to face all the assembled aliens. Because the Vrex are just one threat among many. The galaxy is far more dangerous than you know. Humanity has been fighting alone for too long. We came to learn, added Min, but also to prepare you. The barriers between dimensions are weakening. Things are coming that even we cannot fight alone. The view screens showed the damaged station, with hundreds of ships surrounding it, some providing aid, others simply watching. The Perseverance remained cloaked, invisible to all except those aboard. So what happens now? Asked Minister Ulo, his earlier arrogance completely gone. You return to hiding? Captain Hana looked around at the faces of the various species, beings, who had mocked humans for years, who had treated them as primitive children. Now they looked at her with fear, respect, and uncertainty. That depends on you, she said quietly. We've revealed ourselves because we had no choice. The threat is growing too large for us to fight alone. We need allies we can trust, equals who can stand with us against what's coming. She gestured to a hologram that appeared in the center of the bridge. It showed galaxy-wide readings of strange energy patterns, spreading like cracks in glass. This is why we came to the conquered. Not to rule, not to conquer, but to prepare you for the real war that's coming. And if we tell others what we've seen here, Commander Rel asked, about your true nature, then humanity will fully reveal itself, Hana answered. But ask yourselves, is the galaxy ready for that knowledge? Are your people prepared to learn they are not the most advanced beings in existence? The diplomats looked at each other in silence, the truth of humanity's dark secret finally sinking in. Humans weren't primitives to be mocked, but ancient guardians who had watched over the galaxy from the shadows for centuries. The choice, Captain Hana said, is yours.